Yo, we are back. DPS podcast, that's Damage Per Second podcast, episode 138. We are back on a fine Thursday evening. Your host, SloMoBackSlap, my co-host, Gaming Forte. Say what's up, Forte.
What up, though? How you guys doing? Great day, great chat, great experience. Let's go.
Let's go. So we got a lot to talk about as well, because like I actually told Forte earlier in the day. Well, of course he took like 6 hours to respond back to me. But anyway, asked him earlier today, like, hey, look, ain't a lot going on this week. You want to do a Q&A? Like, you know, we do like the little bit of topics I got, but then we do a Q&A, and you just kind of, you know, see what the community want to talk about. You know, eventually he got back to me, but by the time he eventually got back to me, like, so much stuff has been happening. There's the FTC court case going on with the ABK acquisition. All kinds of nuggets are coming out from that. Some of them we're going to talk about tonight. Oh, man, it's just like that came out. People talking about Final Fantasy 16, which came out today. Todd Howard had an interview with Kind of Funny this morning. It's been a lot, you know, in addition to, you know, some other information that, you know, some of us don't really like to hear about, you know, Microsoft raising prices and whatnot. So we could get into it. First of all, Forte, how you been, bro?
I've been good, man. I was off work today, so I was running around, getting prepared for a trip next week. So
you doing it like me, huh? Going on vacation?
Yeah, going on a cruise to the Bahamas on Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. We leave Sunday, get on a cruise ship on Monday, don't come back until Friday. So, oh my God, I can't wait.
So, all right, so let's discuss. Should we discuss what we're going to do with the podcast next week? Or should we be, I mean, you want to just leave that for later and then we'll...
No, we can do, I mean, listen, if we can do it Saturday.
We can leave it for later. We could
do it Saturday. We could skip a week. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I mean, unless the world burns up and explodes and ABK deal goes through and Microsoft is celebrating, is it really anything gonna happen?
Right. True. So if it's, we might do a emergency podcast, you know, to kind of like address something major that may happen, but we might skip a week. We'll see what happens. We will definitely update you guys on, you know, social media, the channels, the Twitter accounts and everything, let you guys know. But just want to shout out a couple people in the chat. Arcade 4247, what's up, bro? Evas, I apologize if I said that wrong, but Truth Serum, Spider 13, and the Dark Lord Fusion. Appreciate you guys for joining us. We'll allow a few more people to you know, stroll on through. But Forte, I called you earlier, and then like
I called you back,
right? And I was when you called me back, I was on the phone. And then when I called you back after I got off the phone, I still didn't get you. And
then I called you back.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
My phone.
Yeah, I called you back. I called you back twice, actually. One time it went straight to voicemail. The second time it just...
Oh, you know what? When you called me, I probably was on the phone with Amazon. This is the topic that.
Amazon. Oh Lord.
Yeah. So like
What'd they do?
All right. So you know I've been building a new PC, right? And I settled on a case, a very popular case as far as the tech YouTube community is concerned. The Leanne Lee 215. It's everyone says great for airflow, great for everything. I said, all right, bet, fine. You know, like I just want a case that's got a little bit more wiggle room inside of the case than what my current Vantex currently has on my current PC. Now, you and I've been talking, and I've always been team air cooler, right? Always team air cooler. I think I've decided to go with a liquid AIO for the new build, just to see how it goes, just to see, hopefully, you know, I don't have like a bad leak or whatever kind of, like, you know, horror story that you hear from people. I'm the kind of guy that always ends up getting that, having the bad luck of getting something like that, right? So I got the case. and I don't really need all the space. But then I started thinking, like this case, eventually I'm going to upgrade my GPU one day, and the GPU is getting bigger and bigger. Probably gonna want to get a case that's got like a lot of space. And then also we talked about like when it comes to AIOs, the 240 millimeters to the 360s and whatnot. So I'm like, I'm kind of looking like, I don't know if I really want this case or not, because it may not have the space for the AIO or the GPU the way I want it to. Anyway, this is all the things I'm thinking in my head as I've already ordered the case and it's on its way. Forte. This damn case arrived in bro.
Is it glass case?
Oh my gosh, bro. First of all,
that's why you don't order glass stuff from Amazon.
I don't. Yeah, I should have known that because in the past I've ordered anything that has glass from Amazon, always ends up broken on the way. Let me tell you about the state of this product that I ordered with my money when it arrived. First of all, the Amazon dude knew what was up. I was outside. I was already in my front yard when the Amazon dude showed up. He knew what was good when he saw me. As soon as I saw him, I was like, here we go. He had that look on his face like it wasn't me, right? Like Shaggy. And then he goes, yeah, I don't know what that sound is. I can't even hear it yet because he ain't that close to me. So I'm just like, what you mean? And then he's like, yeah, I gotta put the case on your front step and then take a picture, so I can't just give it to you. I said, all right, bet. As he walks past me, I can hear this rattling sound coming from the case. I'm like, what the hell is that? So he drops it. He says, good luck, and then leaves. And I'm like, wow. Okay. So I picked the case up. First of all, the box is way too big for the case. The box is the size, like if I decided like I wanted to order like a coffin for a midget or something, like that would be the size box that they would like deliver for me, you know. Oh, and Capono, I absolutely took pictures, absolutely. So I get the box in, and I'm already telling my wife, this is a no. I'm pissed. I'm like, this is not good. I open the box up. Forte. Inside of this Amazon box is the box for the PC case, and that's it. There is enough space in this box for another PC case. Did they put any wrapping paper in there? Any bubble wrap? Anything to kind of like soften it? No. So I know why I'm hearing all the rattling. Because the case is just a case in there, and that's it. And it's just been sliding back and forth in this box throughout its entire, travels to me. And I'm just like, why would you pack it like this? I mean, I've sold stuff on eBay before. I have a certain, I'm not even like a storefront, but when I sell somebody something on eBay, I'll be like, you know what, it's used, yeah, but when you get it, you're not gonna be like, it's broken, and I think it's broken because this idiot seller sent it to me where it got broken in transit. I'll be putting all kinds of bubble wrap on it, like you can't even see what the item is. There's so much bubble wrap on it. I'll be taping, retaping. It's just tape all over the place. Ain't no way anybody gonna break in and figure out what it is, and ain't no way it's gonna get broken in transit. Maybe that's just me. Clearly, I have a better idea or a better handle on quality than some of these companies out here. Then the actual case itself. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck is this rattling sound, right? Because it don't really sound like a broken glass. It sounds like something else. I get the case out. Lee, I need to understand why they decided it was a good idea to take this plastic box that has all the case screws in it, put it inside of the case, don't secure it, don't tape it so that it doesn't open, and just ship it like that. My brother, it wasn't a single screw left in the box when I opened it up. When I took the case out of the Leanne Lee box, 2 screws fell out. It screws everywhere. It screws in the plastic. It screws in the styrofoam. It screws everywhere, but in the box.
Wow.
But in the case that they're supposed to be in. And I just pick up the case and I shake it a little bit and it's just rattling all over the place. You know. So I said, I'm taking this crap back. And initially I was like, I want you to send me what I asked for, the way it should be sent. And then I said, nah, actually I don't want Leanne Lee to deliver this for me. So instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to either Best Buy or Micro Center. I'll buy a case there, and then I will take the refunded money I got from Amazon and I'm gonna put that towards my liquid cooler, which I think I'm gonna do a deep cool. I think it's called the Deep Cool. Wait, which one is it? The LT520, I think it's called. Yeah, LT520, 240 meter. That's the one I think I'm gonna rock with, and I'm just gonna get that. And then instead of rocking with this Leanne Lee, I'm gonna go get a NZXT A7 Flow, and which is bigger because I was looking at the case as I was like steaming at like the state of this delivery. I'm looking at the case and I'm like, internally, I don't understand why people like this case so much, because internally it's smaller than my Fantex case. So I don't even understand why it's so popular. I almost kind of feel like they did me a favor, but whatever, right? Anyway. Shout out to everybody, 29 people here. Sorry, I had to regale you guys with my frustration before I just want to build the PC, man. I just built.
They make it hard out here, man.
They're making it really hard out here, man.
They make it real hard out here.
All right. Let's get into it since there's a lot.
Hey, did you see that? Okay. Because I don't see it on the list. Did you see the news about Call of Duty and the collaboration between PlayStation and them not being able to share? They won't be able to share if the acquisition goes through. They won't be sharing future console information with them no more.
Right. So which is wild to me, right?
Yeah, which is real wild. The fact that Microsoft has to share information with them for 2 games that's on their platform in MLB and Destiny.
Right.
And Bungie games. Which is crazy, but okay. But go ahead. What are you about to say?
Because like, all right, PlayStation is already like they gave y'all a dev kit to put MLB The Show on Xbox.
Sure did.
You have to give them a dev kit to put Minecraft on PlayStation. Like I feel like that whole thing was just it's smoke. They blowing smoke. I can understand you like, yeah, we gonna go ahead and eventually you gotta give them a dev kit. I can understand if you're thinking like on a competitive scale that like you don't want to, because like Call of Duty comes out annually, you don't want to provide them a dev kit at a pivotal point where they may get details on what PS6 is going to be like, and then therefore they can kind of make some counter adjustments with their Xbox next series piece of hardware or whatever. But unfortunately, that's just the way that things are now. I mean, like they got Minecraft, so what are you just you're gonna shaft your own gamers and not have them get Minecraft updates, not have them potentially not get the next Call of Duty that will be coming out, like, you know, at a certain point.
Yeah,
because
but the way that they're making it,
kits.
Well, the way they're making it sound is making it seem like, well, we don't want to share these secrets with, you know, them because they'll be under Microsoft, and then on top of it, it just makes it seem like, well, Microsoft is basically taking the ability for us to have one of the better versions, like help us make our system better by having that game on it. And I'm sitting there like, no, you're doing that by not sharing information. Like the thing that really irritates me about the console war sometimes is, and when people sit there and say that the corporations aren't a part of that, they are absolutely a part of it. They definitely play into the narrative just like everybody else does, because they know that type of stuff sells their console, and they may not engage with it in the way that people like, some people that we know on Twitter or on different forums or making videos do, but they definitely partake in what's going on in this. And the unfortunate thing is they're basically saying like, oh, well, we're not going to allow something like this to happen because our system could be compromised or something. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not about your system, it's about the games on your system. Everybody, if the thing right now,
hey, whoa, you starting to bop, man. Like, hello? Yeah, I can't hear. You sounding like.
Can you hear me now?
You sound like you about to roll out. Optimus Prime out here. Say something again.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Yeah, I don't know what just happened. I don't know if you tapped your cord or something. Sometimes, like, if you touch your cord, you get animated when you talk. You might end up like, I don't know if you gotta shorten that thing or something, but
yeah, I might have to change this cable. But no, I was just gonna say, the unfortunate thing is, I always thought it's not about the console, it's about the games on the console. Like, if you were to take PlayStation and Xbox and give them the same hardware, and there's no difference in like the way the games play or anything, right now more people would still pick PlayStation over Xbox, even knowing, because they know what the games are, they know they know what the pedigree is, and that's not going to change anything. So even if they do give Microsoft a heads up on what they're making, it still comes up to Microsoft to execute on the first party to make that a reality.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't hurt them, because
I again, I'm saying this is kind of blowing smoke. Honestly, look, you look at like these two consoles now, the Xbox Series X and the PS5. They are way closer in power and what they do. Of course, there's some differences here, and there's some strengths and weaknesses to both of them, right? But they're using the same Zen 2 architecture, the same RDNA 2 architecture. It's because they're both using AMD. With that being the case, and likely going to be the case for the next generation consoles, like, this is not that big a deal. Like, well, we don't want you to know what we're working on. You likely going to be using the same daggone architecture we use in next generation, because frankly, that, like, the way cost is and the way, like, AMD's not gonna go out of their way and give you a discount on some next level stuff that is way more expensive and way more costly that they haven't even fully put on the PC market yet. That's just not how it's going to work. So your architecture is going to be very similar. Eventually you're going to have to give up that info. It's just, when you decide to do it. I think it's less of a big deal now than say 2 generations ago, or if Microsoft was running with Nvidia or Intel, not Intel, but Nvidia for their APU, then definitely at that point you want to go, okay, I don't really want you to know what we're working with. But it seems kind of silly at this point to really say stuff like that.
I think the last thing on it is just mostly for me, if you read like the redacted like conversation in the back and forth, they were talking about, like, you read the line and they talk about like how Call of Duty was able to, it was a fruitful benefit between the two companies when it came to like just information sharing, and they talked about how they collaborated with them on blank blank blank. And I'm thinking, like, what's the one few couple things that Call of Duty benefits from, or that PlayStation gets when it comes to like their overall, and they talk about features. The one feature that Call of Duty has that Xbox really doesn't have is just the immersion of what the controller does for you when it comes to recoil control, when it comes to like the overall feel of different weapons in the game and stuff like that. There might be some other stuff in the background underneath the hood, and they might have access to some type of extra layer of server stability because it is on a more popular platform, so more people are going to be playing it. So it could be some stuff sharing of data on server levels and stuff like that. But for the most part, the most important thing that's happening is they're just sharing the information on, oh, this is how our adaptive triggers, and this is how our adaptive our feedback works inside the controller, so you can mimic that in your game to give a player the best experience possible that makes it different and better on our platform. Because that's the number one thing Jim Ryan kept saying. How do we make our platform stand out when playing this same game versus somebody else on a different platform? And I just feel like at this point we know that.
If that's the case, then you just don't show that, you just don't provide that information to these games that are coming from your main competitor. Like, you just don't give. So when it comes to, let's say if this was happening for this current generation, the DualSense features and stuff like that, like what we saw, that's somewhat adapted for some third-party developers, like say when they did the update for Borderlands 3 on PS5, or all right, well then you don't get the haptic feedback stuff. All right, like I mean, just I would say you decide to do hold back those things so that it's not causing you any kind of problem later on. But I mean, I don't know, like there's a lot of stuff from this court case that's pretty interesting. I thought that was one of the milder things that turned out to be an interesting topic. But some of the other stuff seemed to be a bit more spicy. But did you actually, Capono makes a good point there. Call of Duty players ain't playing with DualSense features on anyway. Ain't nobody trying to deal with no vibrations and whatnot when they trying to aim down sight. So that's it's kind of a moot point. But anyway, I can switch to Call of Duty footage for no reason. You ready to get into these topics, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We had a Nintendo Direct yesterday, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post some gameplay from a game that should have been there but wasn't.
Oh Lord, here we go.
And that's Chrono Trigger, because all these rumors, all week long before the showcase, hey, rumors there's a Chrono Trigger remaster coming, and I'm seeing some fan made remaster stuff that's like looking okay, but I'm just like, I don't really care. I want to see the official, like, real deal, Holyfield kind of. I want to see something real, like Square Enix hooked me up, right? So maybe I fell into the hype a little bit, maybe
you definitely did.
Maybe I got a little excited for no reason. But I'm sitting here watching this Nintendo Direct, and I'm like, I'm seeing some stuff that's like, okay, all right, cool. And I'm laughing at other stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, so you got the Arkham collection that you're gonna charge full price, and it's gonna look and perform worse on your Switch than it did when it originally came out. Or you got there was another collection too. There was the Arkham collection, and there was another collection of games that were older that it's all together. There was the Batman Arkham games. There was something else. I can't remember what the other one was, but I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, all right, whatever. The only thing I really was somewhat impressed about was Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which was like their one more thing, their last thing that they showed, and the Super Mario RPG, which that is
it was the Metal Gear collection, by the way.
Metal Gear, that was it. It was which
Metal
looked
Gear
ugly.
1, 2, and 3.
I thought it was hideous. It was just a big.
I saw that.
Snake
I was
looked like a
that's
big,
gonna look terrible.
Big pile. It was like 6 pixels that made Solid Snake.
It's like the original assets. They didn't even update that stuff. You're gonna be climbing out of that water in Metal Gear 1 just like you did in on the PS1 a long time ago.
Right. I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, y'all ain't do nothing to that, did y'all? But I mean, I didn't care really. Only thing I cared about that I saw was I Mario RPG. That's a day one cop. I'm getting that. I love that game from back in the day. I will spend the Nintendo tax for that one. What did you
$70,
see?
baby.
What did you see that was interesting to you?
Oh yeah. So honestly, the two Mario games, the Super Mario Brothers Wonder, I am more of a fan of the 2D Marios than the 3D. I do like the 3D Marios, but the 2D ones they just kind of, it's like nostalgic. You know, that's what we grew up on. And this one looks super colorful and vibrant and different. It's like it seems like you got to be way more creative. And I think that's kind of why a lot of people like the side scrolling 2D versions of the roguelites and stuff, because you have to do a lot of things to keep people entertained in games like that. So I really, really like what I saw there. But as soon as they show Mario RPG, I was like, yeah, day one cop. They always have at least one game at these showcases that you're super excited for. When you see it, it's like it was never on your radar, and then all of a sudden they show it and you're like, this was great. But then the rest of the show, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, this is literally a rehash of the 3DS right now. All these games they bring it from 3DS. Like, we getting Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, we getting WarioWare Move It, we're getting basically the Detective Pikachu Return, which is pretty much the 3DS version of it.
Right. And this look like I'm not a Pokemon fan, so I didn't. Was there always the Detective Pikachu game before the movie?
Yes, it was before the movie.
Oh, okay.
It came out before the movie.
Okay, so here's my ignorance. I'm sitting here like, why would anybody want to play this without Ryan Reynolds' voice? was my thought.
The movie came out after the game, because the game was on the 3DS and the movie came out. Yeah, the movie came out like probably 2 years ago.
A little bit longer than that, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. It was a decent movie. I
like the movie.
Yeah, I was just like, man, what's going on here? Because I heard the voice and I was just like, that's not Ryan Reynolds.
That's not Ryan Reynolds. And then they're giving you, you got Pikmin 4 coming out, I believe next month, and then you got Pikmin 1 and 2 that they're bringing back. So they're definitely getting that ball rolling. But I'm happy to see they're still supporting Splatoon 3. Just let you know how great Splatoon is, that they're still throwing more content into that. We're getting DLC for the Mario Rabbids games. I'm a real big fan of those, just because overall you don't really see that type of gameplay with those type of characters, and it definitely kind of takes itself more serious than you kind of think for a Mario game. And I think that's really, really cool. And then the forever, we're going to make sure that we charge you and give you new course boosts for Mario Kart 8 is like never ending. So they're never going to stop supporting that. But the ones that a lot of people were shocked by, like Batman Arkham Trilogy, I'm like, are we really gonna play that game?
Yo, on a Switch?
On a
Switch?
Like, as much as I love my Switch and as much as I cap for it and talk about but Legend of Zelda and stuff, it's hard for me to go and get excited for something, especially that I already played on a more powerful system at that time.
Right.
'Cause let's be for real, the Xbox One and even the 360 to some extent, and the PS3, they may have been on par, because those were full-fledged consoles, where you're dealing with a mobile processor. So yeah, the fact that it's portable is cool, but it's not a game that I want to go back. Just like those Metal Gear games, like, would it be cool to like boot them up and play them on the go? Yeah, but at that point, I'm like, but do I really want to experience it that way?
Right.
And I'm like, no.
And for me, this is
all.
why, like, I the wife bought me a Switch OLED, so I got a Switch OLED, but it's like it largely collects dust. And so I brought it with me when I went on vacation last week, and I didn't use it. I didn't use it the entire time. I was using GeForce Now and xCloud, and I think I will, because I got vacation number 2 coming up next month. We're going to Orlando, Florida, and we're going to take a train down there, because I prefer, instead of renting a SUV, I prefer to bring my vehicle with me if I can go within the states on vacation, if I can do it, then I bring my. So I'm really I'm taking my SUV with me on the train for like it's gonna be like such a long ride, but it's worth it. It's worth it once you get out there and you got your own vehicle. You can just do whatever you want. And I prefer that over driving because good grief, I don't like driving long distance anyway. But on the train, I'm not going to have any kind of internet access. So the Switch is going to come in a great hand at that point because I'll basically be, I think maybe 8 or 9 hours on a train from here to Orlando, and that's a long time to be dealing with 3 kids and irritated wife and all kinds of stuff. I'm pulling that Switch out and I'm playing whatever I can offline. So but for me it's like it's always situational, and that's why we're all different gamers and we all like different things. But for me, I just can't it's always like I could probably count on my hand the number of times that I'll pull out and play a Switch game throughout the year. It is what it is.
But are you gonna play Princess Peach? She got her own game again.
I mean, it was a
cool looking game though. I ain't gonna lie.
What did you see? I thought it was a tease. It was like 10 seconds or something. I don't know what
I'm saying. The fact that they're giving Princess Peach a game again. This is all based off of the Mario movie too, right? This is
of course, because they made her like a hero instead of
they
a
made her
damsel in distress.
She was a bad girl in there.
Right. She was better than Mario in there, so it's just like she's a hero instead of a damsel in distress. So of course they gotta give her a game now too.
But I do think of all of these games, if we're not talking about just the Mario games are always going to play good on there. I think the one game that I was actually excited to see on there, and I kind of knew it was coming already because it was already at the Xbox showcase, and I said, there's no way this isn't going to be at the Nintendo showcase too when they finally do one. Persona 5 Tactics is good. Like, I think that game is by far going to be of all the games they shown, I think that's the one that's going to lend itself best to playing on the Switch.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm not getting it on the Switch.
I'm definitely getting. No, but see, that's the thing.
I'm getting it on PC, but
it's in Game Pass, so you could definitely play it on PC too, unless you're going to buy it on Steam.
Oh no! I'll be playing it on PC Game Pass. The version that don't get price increases. That's a topic for later, so I can had to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get to that.
But no, I mean, just like to show up your thoughts all together on the show on that Nintendo Direct. How did you feel about it?
I mean, it was a good Direct. I mean, like I said, going into these, especially when they're not really known of what's going on. Like, this thing got kind of leaked and then all of a sudden it was here. Was really no build up to it. For them to be able to just drop a Direct and just give us some stuff, I give it like a 7 out of 10. I mean, like I said, Mario RPG and Mario Wonder was something that a lot of people definitely were excited for. But the continued support of the 3DS games getting moved over is a consistent thing that's going to keep happening. And I definitely give them points for continually to support their money getters when it comes to like Mario Kart and Splatoon, and they keep talking about that type of stuff. And I think they did put a little bit of nice emphasis on Just Dance, because I think Just Dance actually does probably its best on the Switch, especially due to the fact that you actually have. I do, because you have Joy-Cons on that. With Xbox and PlayStation, you have to use a controller. You have to use your mobile phone, because you log in with the app and download the Just Dance app on your phone, and then the phone becomes the accelerometer that tracks everything in the game. Versus on the Switch, you have a Joy-Con in your hand, so it's a better experience. So that's why
I've never did Just Dance, so I don't.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It's just mostly just because I see when Just Dance, when I sell Just Dance, it's I want to say 90% of the time I'm selling it on a Switch. So I never really, and I know people roll their eyes when they hear Just Dance, but when it comes to Nintendo, I actually understand why they can have a actual, let that be a part of their showcase, because for them it actually does make sense, because they probably have 90% of the market when it comes to that game. when it comes to that. But everything else was actually really, really cool. They talked about some of their stuff that's coming up, like the Star Ocean game. That looked really cool for Square Enix, you know, just to basically continue the foray that Square Enix loves PlayStation and Nintendo more than Xbox, as Xbox don't get half the games that everybody else does. But yeah, it was a good show. It wasn't like mind blowing, but it was like a 7 out of 10.
5 out of 10 for me because well, actually, I'm being generous. 3 out of 10.
Because you were because you was excited because they got you. You fell into that whole hype for Chrono Trigger. Yes. And it didn't happen.
Yes, I should have had a Chrono Trigger remake or remaster. I know Nintendo never said it. I don't care. I know it's not their fault. I still don't care. I should have sold my Chrono Trigger. And a 3 out of 10 because of that. And the 2 points for 2 points for Super Mario RPG remaster and 1 point for Super Mario Wonder. Everything else negative.
They don't get no points for anything
nothing. You get nothing.
I'm with you. I mean, hey, that's your opinion.
All right. Moving on. We got some interesting news from Nixus. So earlier today, I don't think anyone really recognized this with everything that was going on today, but the PlayStation YouTube channel released a profile video about Nixus. And if you don't know who Nixus is the development team that's been doing all the PC ports to PlayStation first party games to PC. And they're one of the better studios out there that does it. They do a great job. All of their ports have been excellent. They have done Spider-Man Remastered, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and now they are working on next month. They will have released Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which we were told years ago was impossible to run on anything but a PS5. But here it is coming to PC. And Nixus is like, no one doubts them. Like, everyone knows it's going to be a good quality port. But I thought was really interesting, and what I thought that was something worth speaking about was that they mentioned in their profile video that they're not just doing PC ports, they're also now doing remasters. And so I said, excuse me? You're doing remasters now. Interesting. I wonder what they're remastering. I got some thoughts on this. Forte, what do you think about that when you hear that Nixus might be doing a remaster? Which older PlayStation games
there's only one game that needs to be remastered on that system that everybody would lose their freaking mind for. If it
begins with a B?
It starts with a B. It
ends with an E.
Ends with an E. It's got a dude with a hat with his back turned to the camera with a scythe in his hand. That's all he got to know.
Is the aesthetic real dark?
It's really dark. It's got werewolves in it. The dude's got a trench coat on.
Yeah, I think I know which game that is.
Victorian setting. It's you know what game that is.
Bloodborne? Is that the name of the game you're speaking of? I believe so. So what if Nixus is doing a Bloodborne remaster?
It'd be about time. 60
frames per second. You know, get a little nice little shiny gloss on there. You know, upgrade the resolution a little bit, clean up the textures a little bit, just a little bit. You know, a little something.
Do a simultaneous release on PC and on PS5.
Oh yeah, you know it's definitely coming to PC.
That's what I'm saying. Would it be in an older game, it kind of would bypass that whole, it's a newer game, day one on PS5. You know, you just do a simultaneous launch of it on both platforms, and then you're satisfying both crowds. And that game will break some numbers if they did that.
Parappa the Rapper. We got some thoughts in the chat.
Parappa the Rapper.
Yo, I'll be down with that. I like Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper, that's a good one too, though.
That was a fire game back in the day. Bushido, I like Bushido Blade.
Bushido Blade.
Yeah, like the fact like a fight can end in 2 seconds. Let me just catch you slipping. You know, as soon as the fight began, I get you up out of here real quick in a hurry. Bushido Blade was pretty cool. I don't think they go because they say remaster, and those games are so old they would need a remake.
There'll be a remake.
So a remaster territory is like 10 years or less, depending on the game. Some games might need a remake if they like, depending on when it came out. If it was like at the end of like 2 generations ago, then yeah, you might need to go ahead and do a remake for that thing. But if it's just like just the beginning of like last generation, and here we are at the beginning of a new generation, then yeah, I can see them doing a remaster of it. You know, it depends on the game. But I can't think of anything else but Bloodborne, honestly.
Nothing else. I mean, granted, there's other. I mean, all the franchises that they could remake, I feel like have studios that could already, you know, do those remakes, or they're just not. They're not sought after enough for the remake. Where Bloodborne is like, dude, we've been asking for Bloodborne, or not me in particular, but I know like fans of Bloodborne. I know even you being the person that likes the Souls games and stuff now, I know you would even play Bloodborne. You refuse to play it in the state it's in right now, so you're basically waiting to hold out. But I know Luca would go crazy if
I'm not playing
happened.
A sub 30 FPS game.
Oh no, yeah, that game is kind of a wrap. So I do think that this is the easy choice, but this also goes back to that whole conversation and how my feelings on Final Fantasy VII Remake. I always felt like Square Enix was scared. I said, Square Enix, are you scared to reprint money? Like, we do know if you remake Final Fantasy VII, you're basically printing money.
Oh man,
and it took them forever to do it.
I almost made this a topic, but then we ended up getting so many topics that I had to cut some stuff.
Yeah, to cut some stuff.
There are developers at Square Enix that want them to do a Final Fantasy VI remake. But I don't think it's based upon what one of the producers for Final Fantasy VII Remake said. I don't think it's going to happen, because they were talking about how because 6 was done in their old school 2D, you know, kind of like what we see from like Octopath Traveler kind of style of an RPG, that they literally will have to build the entire game from scratch. And it's so big of a game because those games were massive games, long story. Like people don't realize how long some of those games used to be, that like it would be, if they did it like they did 7 Remake, and like I would love to see it, but I gotta be realistic. It would be a bigger game, and it would take them longer, and they would have to do multiple parts the way they're doing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and so it's probably not going to happen. But shout out to Jeff Grubb, the homie Jeff Grubb, saying that Final Fantasy IX Remake is a thing. I like 9. 9 was the last Final Fantasy that I enjoyed. So go ahead and remake that. That's cool. I mean, it's not 6, but I'll take it.
I mean, I need to see what Kefka would look like with hair and eyes.
Kefka reminds me of the Joker.
He did.
If you look at like his concept art and his demeanor and him laughing at the despair and drama and misery that he caused. Yeah. He's the Joker. He's like the Square Enix version of the Joker. But anyway, I do think
one of the best ones.
Shout out to Muck in the chat who says MotorStorm, God of War 1, 2, and 3. I could definitely see God of War 1, 2, and 3 getting remastered. MotorStorm, that's a PS1 game, right?
Well, it depends on yeah, it started over there, but then the last one was Apocalypse, which is the one that was on PS3. Apocalypse was straight because they had all the natural disasters and stuff in the game.
Here's the thing, though, right? Because I saw who mentioned Gravity Rush? The random guy. The random guy mentioned Gravity Rush as a PC port. And here's the thing: I like Gravity Rush, but like it didn't sell well. So I know how Sony is. We ain't never gonna see a Gravity Rush 3, a remaster, or nothing. You know, you're gonna get it in PS Plus, the catalog, and that's it. MotorStorm, I don't know how well those sold, so I think that kind of puts them in. I'm not 100% certain. I kind of feel like they're like in that category too, where it had its time, but they don't think there's a market for it anymore. I could see a Twisted Metal. Rails says a Twisted Metal. If you think about it, they got a TV show coming out. It would make sense to kind of remaster an older Twisted Metal game to kind of like get anyone who might be interested in the game and go grab that. But the thing is with Nix's is that their process is so streamlined that they can knock out high quality PC ports and remasters. They probably can do that stuff very, very quickly. And I think the whole, anytime I see videos like that, I kind of looked at, and I kind of almost wish the homie Asian Deli or 3-Bit was here, because maybe they could kind of like speak to how they see stuff like that from their perspective as developers. But I always look at videos like this and think that they're just really just they're recruiting tools to try to get people to sign up to apply to work for them, because frankly, Nix's is the best PC port studio that PlayStation has available to them. They've had to go out of their depth with like some real trash port studios like Iron Galaxy. You know, no shade to anyone who works for them, but I'm sorry, their resume ain't that great. And we saw, if you look at like how they have done their PC ports for their first party games, they have assigned a PC port studio per their first party developer. So Nix's did all the Insomniac games. There was Jetpack Interactive did God of War. So more than likely Jetpack Interactive is going to do God of War Ragnarok. God of War was very good. Sony Bend does their own games. I can't remember who did Horizon Zero Dawn, but they're likely going to be the same studio doing Horizon Forbidden West. And then you got the fact that Iron Galaxy did a trash port of the Uncharted collection, and then did an even worse port of The Last of Us Part 1, and you pretty much know Iron Galaxy is going to be involved with Naughty Dog on The Last of Us Part 2. I would prefer if Nix's got big enough that they could just handle all that stuff their own. You know, like, because
I would like to see a remake, not a remake. Well, I would like to see a remastering of Uncharted Golden Abyss that was on the Vita, because I feel like a lot of people didn't get a chance. Well, a lot of people didn't play that game because the Vita didn't do as well as it should have did. And a lot of people talk about, well, the reason they don't do it is because the touchpad on the back of the Vita was really integral in the game. But now that we got this giant touchpad in the front of the PS5 controller, the DualSense, I feel like a lot of that stuff could be implemented and brought in, because I was really shocked of how good that game actually was. It was like the premium experience on there. I really, really enjoyed that game. And I always thought that that's a game that they definitely should remake, because a lot of people just didn't. It's one of the Nathan Drake stories that you just don't know about because no one really played it.
Yeah.
Not saying they should focus on something like that now, but with Nix is now doing remasters too, I just feel like they should definitely go back and revisit that old catalog of games, just like the Killzone. I wouldn't expect somebody like Guerrilla to go back and do Killzone Mercenary or something like that, but that's something that Nixus could do. You know, that would just bring more value from your older IPs and bring them up so people can experience them, under today's circumstances with today's graphical powers and everything. And they could kind of do a little bit of change when it comes to the control schemes of the game. Because the one thing that we always talk about, indie games are usually the games that are kind of the stopgaps that kind of, bridge out a generation or even a year before you start getting to those really big AAA games. But if Nixus can give you one of those like every year, that's an extra game that from one of the bigger franchises that you have in your portfolio that you can add as another, maybe not a AAA game, but a AA game of a AAA title by name. And then that could get people excited for things like that too. And they could kind of use that to like launch it to like, oh, if they're coming out with another Uncharted game, when they finally do decide to bring the Uncharted franchise back, they can do something like Golden Abyss to get people, familiarized with the overall franchise. Or if they ever want to go back and revisit Killzone, they could do something like Mercenaries or anything like that. I just feel like there's different ways they could use Nix's outside of just the PC port side of it, and I think they're finally realizing that, and that's why they're doing a move to make it so they're broadening their horizon when it comes to making games and just remastering them too.
Yeah, and I kind of feel the need for all of these studios will be, or the kind of the rushing that we saw with Iron Galaxy, with The Last of Us Part 1, that won't be as prevalent as the generation goes on, because they were kind of catching up with like the PS4 games, and now they're kind of almost done with all the PS4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're getting into the PS5, the cross-gen games and PS5 games. As we know, development cycles take 5-6 years now. It's good to it, and it doesn't take as long to port a game, but it does take you far longer to develop that game. Now it's going to be more along the lines of, like, for example, like Capone said in chat, that like it took Jetpack Interactive 2 years to port God of War Ragnarok. I mean, sorry, not God of War, but God of War took 6 years to make. So that's a third of that time. And what's going to end up happening is that they're going to need less of these port studios as they've got caught up, and then they'll be pretty much waiting to put those games as they stagger them onto PC for not the live service stuff, but the single player stuff. And maybe Nixus could start handling more of the other IPs and other studios, and they're not relying on, like, say, an Iron Galaxy to get something like that done, But anyway, we can move on. This is kind of just a random topic I wanted to throw in there, because
I'm glad you put this in here, mostly due to some acknowledgments I need to make about other games too. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, go. Speak your truth.
No. Start your soliloquy first, and then I'll finish.
All right. So I'm starting to notice a theme, and we kind of talked about this briefly a few episodes ago, probably right around the time that we were discussing our impressions of the PlayStation Showcase a month ago. But the extraction shooters are the new battle royale now. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious at this point. It's the new hot thing, the new live service game that everyone's trying, and we can thank Escape from Tarkov for popularizing the genre. Escape from Tarkov is a PC only game made by a developer that doesn't even put Escape from Tarkov with any other launcher. That's when you know that you got it like that. Like, you don't even have to put your game on a launcher to get people invested in it. But
yeah,
it's I don't think it's unlike PUBG. I don't think Escape from Tarkov ever is going to make it to consoles. It's kind of, they got a lot of cheating issues they're dealing with. They got the game I've never played it, but based upon what people have told me about the game, I kind of feel like that developer is just struggling to kind of keep up with what they got to do for PC, period. So I don't think that game's ever going to show up on consoles. But whenever there's something that is a interesting new idea and it works on the indie level, what big publishers do, they say, oh, that works. Well, let's take that idea and then let's go put a AAA budget behind it. And so I do think that what we're seeing right now from so many of them starting to come out is that it's going to be the same thing that happened with battle royales. This is the reason why I made the topic. Extraction shooters are the new battle royale. I think that extraction shooters are There's going to be so many of them coming out that a large number of them are going to fail. So in the chat, someone Ramos just asked, what is an extraction shooter? And so typically what an extraction shooter is that there are games that are PvPvE. And honestly, I say Escape from Tarkov is the first successful game to do it, but it was a mode that was actually created by Massive Entertainment in the Division 1. So survival mode is very much like the first extraction shooter. The goal in survival mode in Division 1 is that you're sick, you're infected with this infection that's going to kill you in an hour. You can kind of like use drugs and antibiotics and stuff to extend that time, but eventually your time will run out. You need to, with zero gear, and being exposed through this like this snowstorm where the temperature is below zero, get warmer clothes, get gear that you can actually defend yourself with, survive, and then get into the dark zone, find the drugs that you need, that you were trying to get in the first place, that might have a cure to the whole issue that goes on in the division with the dollar flu, and then pop the flare to have a chopper come get you and extract you out before hunters come get you. That's the whole premise of survival. Survival's amazing now. I still have the Division 1 installed. I still play it from time to time. It's great. Survival is awesome. They're idiots for not putting that in Division 2 in some way, shape, or form. But that is kind of like where it started. Also, the Dark Zone. The whole premise behind the Dark Zone, you go in, whether with a team or by yourself, you're trying to get loot and you're trying to extract it out, or you're going to steal someone else's loot as they're trying to extract it out. All of these ideas kind of like birthed this idea of the extraction shooter, which is PvP, VE. You do have NPCs or, you know, enemy AI that you deal with within these zones and these areas. But now, like the way Battle Royale first at one point was just a mode for a game, it turned into its own thing. There are full-on games that are based around that. Extraction shooters are getting the same thing. And there's already been some that have been launched on PC and failed, like Scavengers. Decent game, didn't do anything very unique or different, and lost its player base pretty quickly and failed. And I think you're gonna see that happening with a lot of games. So right now I'm showing the teaser trailer for Marathon, which wasn't an extraction shooter when it came out a gazillion years ago, but now this reimagining of it by Bungie will be an extraction shooter. And I've seen something, I don't know if you heard this or not, Forte, but like that oxygen is going to be an important. So remember how I talked about in the Division survival, you had to like find shelter to keep your temperature up, because if you didn't, you would freeze to death. Well, it looks like oxygen is going to be a thing in Marathon, where you're gonna need to be able to find air or something of that, to that effect, in order to make sure you survive. There's always a little.
That's why they got us going after air bubbles in Destiny right now.
Oh, so they're already trying to train you on that kind of mentality. That's smart. Other example of extraction shooters is like Hunt Showdown. Call of Duty Warzone DMZ is very popular. Extremely popular. Warzone DMZ is probably the most popular one right now. As far as pure numbers, I think it might have more numbers than Escape from Tarkov at this point. Fair Games. I think Fair Games might be an extraction shooter. It might be Payday. It depends. Like the difference between extraction shooters and say what Payday was. If you played Payday 2, Forte, did you play Payday 2?
I did.
Yeah. So your map was like very small. It was essentially just the location that you were going to do the heist at. Those are like heist games, right? Not necessarily like extraction shooters, because like your goal was to go in and steal some stuff and get out as quickly as possible, but you didn't have like other players to contend with. It was just the enemy and the way the game was designed. If you were stupid enough to shoot someone And then the police would show up, and then you gotta shoot your way out, kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I think based upon what we saw from the trailer of Fair Games, which was all CG trailer, but it was kind of hard to like determine what exactly the game design would be. But it looked like you were going up against other players as well. So I'm gonna put that in the extraction shooter category. But there's Marathon, and then there's the Division Heartland, which I was supposed to come out this year, but I think got kind of delayed to early next year because they haven't said anything about it, as Ubisoft hasn't. But all right, I'm done. Forte, you said there were some things that you wanted to address.
Yeah,
with
there's
shooters.
Yeah, there's two things. Well, really, I agree. There are a lot. I think everything is kind of shifting over to extraction. Not saying that traditional BRs like Fortnite and Apex Legends and stuff won't persist to be at the top of everything, but everybody's trying to find that next thing. And the thing with Bungie being one of those studios that's trying to get into that extraction shooter meta, I just think it's just going to get a lot more people, because Bungie hasn't really failed on any game really since but I mean they only had 2, honestly. So they kind of just keep on pushing and pushing. But the thing I wanted to talk about, one thing is just like you talk about the copycat. Apex Legends, I don't know if you saw the story about that, but the creative director for an unannounced Titanfall game basically came out and talked about how Titanfall 3 was in development for 10 months.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And then they basically were saying like it was fun. It was like Titanfall 2.5. It was like just a better version of Titanfall 2. But it wasn't nothing groundbreaking, nothing game changing. But then PUBG just happened to come out right around a great time. And then they said, wow, let's, and they took some of their developers and they started implementing some of the characters that they had inside of a battle royale. And they instantly went from like, this feels great. And then that's how Apex Legends was born, because like you just said, copycat, one thing does another.
Right.
And that's why Apex Legends is where it is now. So that's definitely going to always continue to be a thing when it comes to developers. They're, especially these bigger companies. And the funny thing that I always found from that is a lot of people blamed, like we can still blame EA overall for the handling of Titanfall 2 by releasing it in the middle of Call of Duty and Battlefield. But it was real interesting to find out that was not even a call that EA even made. That was Respawn. And come to find out that EA didn't know about the change, that they weren't doing Titanfall for 6 months after they already started development on Apex. So I just thought that was a really interesting thing to hear, because we give EA a bunch of slack, but it just seems like Respawn, and I think this is why we people love Respawn, because we got the 2 Star Wars games that's really good. We got the Titanfall games, and we got Apex Legends. So ever since Respawn has been in existence, they haven't missed at all. So just food for thought on that. But the one thing I do want to talk about, I wanted to bring, I'm gonna give you some flowers, Slomo. You're gonna love this.
For me?
I'm gonna give you some flowers.
Okay. I like to hear this. Hold on, let me.
So you were playing the Marathon trailer, and you know how much I love Destiny. You know how much I love Bungie.
Yeah.
Bungie right now got people on. They on thin ice right now with people, bro. They definitely on thin ice.
Let me go back to the Marathon trailer since you Bungie slander. Let's do that.
So they definitely on some thin ice, man. They releasing cutscenes for stuff that should have been in Lightfall itself, and we're finding out, the Witness and all this other crazy stuff. We're finding out all this stuff outside of the campaign that we probably should have. Not even probably. We should have known this 5 months ago. But now we're finding the origin story of a lot of this stuff, and it kind of all seems shoehorned in. And then, but the thing that brings this to matter, it feels like Destiny is kind of moving on, and they just don't know how to end it It's like fly by the seat of your pants the way that they're doing this.
Oh, so you're saying they're going to end the game completely?
No, I don't think they're going to end the game completely. But this is what I said. Shout out to Ebontis, shout out to Ty Guy Travis, and shout out to Cognito. I was listening to Last Word earlier today, and I said an interesting tweet on there when they were talking about all the stuff going on in Destiny.
Oh man, I should have showed up so I could get some Destiny slander.
Oh man, it was beautiful. But so I said an interesting tweet. I was like, Bungie, you're gonna look. I said they were talking about how Bungie was very fortunate to be in the situation they are. You know, when Destiny released, there was really no competition for them at all. Like all the games, I mean, the pandemic hit, Destiny 2 just blew up even more. So there was really no competition for them at that moment. So they kind of read off of that. Plus, they live off the name that they're Bungie, and people love, you know, when you hear Bungie, you know, great first-person shooter, great gameplay. So you kind of live off of that. But I told them, I was like, you know, they're fortunate to have the player base they have, because they are. They're fortunate for people like me and all the people that try their games.
You're gonna have to send me the link to this this episode.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like the perfect episode for SloMo. It seems like Bungie was getting that work. And I will. It's good to see other people.
Yeah,
giving
well,
them that
I mean,
work,
listen, listen. I'm a realist, and I always told you, and I tell you this about video games and buying consoles and stuff. I always tell you, don't buy until they give you a reason to buy. But the same thing goes true when they're not supporting you in the way that they should support you like they did before. That's when it's time to start weaning yourself off and walking away. And I told them, I said, they're happy. I said, they're fortunate to have the player base that they have. But for myself, the only reason I grind the game, and I'm literally saying exactly word for word what I said. I said, the only reason I grind this game is to see it to the end. I said, Final Shape will be my last harbor for this game. So for the most part, if they do have something elaborate that's going to happen after Final Shape next year happens, I really don't want to invest again. Like my investment,
they do have something elaborate. It's called Marathon.
Well, that's for Marathon. I'm talking about, but Destiny's supposed to persist after this. It's supposed to continue to go on.
Yeah, I remain skeptical.
I'm just letting people know right now, no matter what Destiny does after Final Shape, when, you know, that all plays itself out, I'm just telling you, you know, you can hold this against me, and I want you to. My involvement in my overall ability to want to play that game consistently like I play now is done with Final Shape. After that comes out, I'm not reinvesting for another generation of whatever they're going to have, because there is more games now. And this is the thing that kind of hit for me. I haven't turned Destiny on in 2.5, 3 weeks. Haven't played at all.
That's good. Great.
Haven't. Because but the reason is because there's finally games that I want to play. Like I bought Final Fantasy 16 today because I want to play that. I'm just going to wait until I come back from the cruise because I don't want to get super invested. And then literally when I come back, I'm like, where was I at? So I'm just going to wait till I come back. Yeah. But I've been playing Diablo and I've been playing all these other games and stuff. And it's like at a point now, it's like it's kind of like how Warframe was for me. The longer you're away from it, the better you feel. And I keep telling myself, I was like, yeah, but I still love that game. And I'm still going to play it all the way up until the end because I feel like I'm on the cuffs of what the story's going to be at the end. And if they disappoint me, they disappoint me with it. But at least I have to see it. I have to see it to the end because it's 10 years at this point. But I'm not reinvesting after that. And that's the problem with these live service games, because you're telling people to like live with the vision that you have for your game basically forever, and you want to keep people coming back to your games and keep them engaged in your ecosystems. But people get burnt out on that, and in the moment that they get that in their mind that a person is kind of over it, that's when other games kind of creep in and you start losing your player base slower and slower and slower. So that's like the whole thing with Sony and all their 10 live service games and all this other stuff. part of me feels like it's a little too late, because I think the games that kind of solidified themselves in that genre are the ones that people are going to kind of stick with. And I think we're going to get a hard crash. I think it's going to be a hard crash back to people going back and wanting to experience games that's not going to take their whole lives to experience them. Because when I think about it,
that's where we are now. Well, because look, what you're talking about is the kind of looter shooter live service game that Destiny is, right? This is why Ubisoft has shifted away from, even though there still will be a Division 3,
right?
But like they prioritize the Division Heartland first,
right?
Because that's an extraction shooter, and you're talking about what they want to do is get you invested in the game and keep coming back. And there's a whole formula that says that the more the people keep coming back, the more money they'll spend on your game.
Absolutely.
But then also not let it have it be a time sink or a second job kind of thing, the way it is the grindiness of a looter shooter. Extraction shooters aren't like that. Like you go in, you jump in.
There's a dopamine that makes you jump in one time, and if you're out, you're out. Then you jump back in and you do it all over again.
Right. And so the difference is with this is that like there's already the shift towards that allows them to still make live service games, but not games where people feel like it's either I play this or I play. Or I can't play literally anything else. So I think that's why. And look, I'm even showing this one. The one I'm showing right now is Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders, when it was first revealed to be just a PvE game. It was supposed to be a full-player co-op campaign game, and then they delayed it. And then they announced when they delayed it that they were shifting it to a extraction shooter. And it's like, well, duh. Everyone's doing it at this point, to the point where even games that have already been revealed but haven't been launched yet are being shifted in development towards what everyone thinks is the next big thing. And you know, look,
are you tired of the? Are you tired of that though at this point, or do you are you still, you just want to see where it goes?
I'm not big in extraction shooters right now. So for me, I can't really be tired of something I never really liked.
Okay.
So for me, it's whatever. But I mean, I'm going to try these games because usually most of them are free to play, or you know, or they don't cost full price because they really want you to get people in the ecosystem. But I do feel like the vast majority of these games will not succeed. I do not think Arc Raiders will succeed. I do not think Fair Games will succeed. Sorry, I just don't. I think Marathon will be fine because it's Bungie, and there's a built-in player base there that will play Marathon, and it will be successful. I think Division Heartland, even though I've played Heartland in the betas and I didn't like it, but I think that it's solid for what it's supposed to do. It's an extraction shooter. It's solid in those areas. I don't like it because it's not the traditional Division gameplay. But that's not what it's supposed to be. So anyway, I think that that's going to be like just how I think it shakes out. I think some of them will stick around, and I think some of them won't, and I think most of them won't. But give me one moment because my daughter's here waiting patiently.
No, go ahead.
Figure out what
she
needs.
And while you're doing that, I guess I'll just talk to the chat about it. But I do think the biggest worry is, okay, for me, like SloMo just said, it comes back to he can't really be tired of something he's never really been into, which are extraction shooters. But in my view, that's still a game that kind of never ends. It's like you're jumping in, like Fortnite never ends. You're jumping in, you're rinse and repeating, you're, you know, trying to get that chicken dinner. Same thing with the extraction shooters. You're trying to get the loot and extract. It's like, yes, the dynamic changes because it's a PvP game, and it's always it's very dynamic in that regard. But it's still a game that doesn't have a clock that tells you when it's the end. You just jump right back and you're playing the game again, and that's how Destiny is, and like a lot of like Apex Legends and stuff, and things like like I'm at the point now where I feel like games like Starfield is a better thing. Well, for me, I feel, because at least I know, yes, you could put 100 hours into that game, or you could just stay on the main path of the campaign and beat the game and you're done with it. I think once you put so much time into games that kind of are meant to like continually have you come back and draw you back in for more things, that's, you kind of get tired of that kind of formula. Like I kind of miss like when there was just, oh, there was a big DLC. Like I play a game like Mass Effect and then they come out with Shadow Broker and it makes me jump back in to play Shadow Broker, because you know, even though that's a way to get you back into the game. But guess what? Once you're done with Shadow Broker, you're done with that DLC, unless you just want to replay it again and do different scenarios and different playthroughs. That's how you can experience that game. But guess what? When you do it, that's it. You can only do it so many different ways, and that game is still going to end at the end. When it comes to the games that we're talking about, you're jumping back in, but what's the real payoff? Do we want to just continually play games that are going to basically run you around the drain every day, all day, and you're consistently just waiting for the next, you know, the next hit that's going to hit for you and stuff? Or do you just want to play something like Final Fantasy and experience 70 to 80 hours or 100 hours, beat it, maybe go back to play the Final Fantasy mode where you're going to get a different experience, and then beat that, and then you might put a total of 200 hours in that game, and then you're done with it.
I'm back.
You know, yeah. So that's kind of where, I don't know if you heard any of the stuff I was talking about, but that's kind of where I am. Chat is just like, I long for the games that's going to say, I could put 30 hours into this game. I could put 50. I could even put 100, like I said with Starfield. But at least I know when I'm done playing Starfield, I'm done playing Starfield. I did everything I wanted to do in that game, versus having to log in every week with the fear of missing out on something that really doesn't matter in the end.
And I would say that to cap this entire discussion, which I think has been awesome, and I'm glad we can kind of do these kind of the discussions that aren't necessarily about the flavor of the week or the news topic of the week, but it's more like something that's just kind of unique for our podcast and our little thing. But I think you're getting to the place where I was maybe about 2018, 2019, where I was just kind of done with these kind of second job kind of live service games. I just couldn't do it no more. I'm missing out on too many great games that I want to play because, I need to get this item. You know, I've been playing like occasionally the Division 2, and I'm still trying to get a particular exotic to complete my sniper build. And I still can't get that exotic. And I know why I can't get it, because I'm not putting in the amount of hours that other people put in on that game to get everything they want. And I refuse to. I'm not going to. But it is what it is. I just come to terms with that. I will engage in these games casually, but the hardcore, like, live looter shooter, no, I don't have the sound for it. Sorry.
Yeah, it was good discussion though. Something that I definitely didn't want to just share. I was going to make a video and share it, but I was like, I think SloMo would appreciate me saying this on the show with him for the first time.
Another thing that came up today, and out of the FTC and versus Microsoft court case, was that I think it was Pete Hines. I believe it's either Pete Hines or Matt Booty.
No, it was Pete Hines.
It's Pete Hines. When Pete Hines was on the stand, he I guess I don't know how this came out because I wasn't watching it. I was busy working and just kind of like seeing my Twitter timeline updating with all the relevant information. But what I did, we did get confirmation of, is that Indiana Jones will be console exclusive to the Xbox. And this was always a question from the moment the game was announced, because I believe it was announced before the ZeniMax Media deal was completed. But it was always a question of like, is this going to be a multiplayer or not? And we did get additional information coming out that it was originally planned to be, when ZeniMax Media made the deal with Disney, it was planned to be a multi-platform game, like pretty much all their games were. But when the acquisition happened, they renegotiated the deal to make it so that Indiana Jones would be exclusive to essentially the Xbox ecosystem, which is Xbox and PC. So does this even matter?
Nope.
I don't. Maybe it's just me, right?
Shouldn't
but like,
matter, at least.
I'm kind of like, I roll my eyes at the whole. What you mean? You telling me ZeniMax Media games are exclusive? Yes, fool. Why are we talking about this? Of course, it's exclusive. Like anything they told you, like on a case by case basis, that we'll kind of deal with whether something's going to be exclusive or not. But really, it's about like what the IP. If the IP was already established, and then let's say like something like Minecraft, like anything they do with Minecraft will always be multi-plat. Anything they do with Call of Duty is probably likely always going to be multi-plat. But like anything new IP, new idea, new stuff to come, this is new. This is new stuff. This is new-ish. Okay,
Yeah,
new-ish will be exclusive. And apparently it's like, it's a big deal that they doing it from this side, but when you see Nintendo like money hat freaking Marvel what
Marvel
was
Ultimate
Alliance 3 exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, everybody was like, good job Nintendo, that was a good one.
Sure was. Only other place you can get Spider-Man was that platform.
Right. When Sony gets Spider-Man exclusive to the PlayStation, everybody's like, well, you know, good job. You're making the game. It's a high quality game. You're getting exclusive to your platform. Great job. They bought ZeniMax Media. ZeniMax Media is now Xbox. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of your mind that you will get these games on your. You won't. Sorry. You want to play the Indiana Jones game, whatever it is, get yourself an Xbox or a PC, bro. I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record here because I feel like I keep saying this over and over every time this stuff kind of comes up.
But the funny thing is, I see people coming down on Xbox about this. Like, yeah, once again, another game that Xbox took away from PlayStation gamers. And I'm sitting there like, but Disney was okay with this too.
Yes, Disney does not care.
Disney don't care because guess what? If Disney didn't want this to happen, it would not have happened.
Right.
If Disney came out and said this game must remain multi-plat, guess what Microsoft would have did? Left the game multi-plat. Microsoft went to them and said, hey, since this is one of our studios making it, since we are the sole proprietaries of the studio now, can we make this game exclusive to the Xbox platform? And Disney was like, and then Microsoft probably sweetened the pot a little bit, gave them a little bit of extra money on the back end for development of the game or getting the IP and stuff. And guess what? Disney was like, sure. Because guess what? This would have happened if Disney didn't say yes.
Right. Let's go down a list of games that Disney had zero problem with being exclusive. Spider-Man, Wolverine, Knights of the Old Republic, a game that was on Xbox. Disney had no problem with it being timed exclusive to PlayStation, and probably will likely, and even though I don't think it's ever going to come out at this point.
I don't think it's coming out.
But if it was going to come out, you probably is one of those timed exclusive games that just never seems to show up on Xbox. But like, Disney don't care. They do not care. They don't, as long as they get paid, that's all they care about. Period. Mm-hmm. So exclusive, not exclusive, so what? They don't care about the stuff y'all care about. So I mean, look, we don't even know what kind of game it is. Like this teaser is literally 23 seconds long. I'm just it's reran like 20 times since we started this conversation on my screen. And
I have a question.
Yes.
When we finally do see this game, are we going to basically get a new avatar for Indiana Jones, or are we going to get a younger version of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones?
Oh, I think we're gonna get Harrison Ford, man.
You think we're gonna get Harrison Ford? Because I think that kind of has to happen.
We gonna get Harrison Ford, and I want Harrison Ford just because I want Harrison to be a part of the marketing for this.
I absolutely.
And I want Harrison to deal with like stupid questions.
Yes, because he deals with stupid questions really well.
Because I want him to go off and be like, just like that old crotchety old man. I don't know. Shut up. Like, leave me alone.
The same way he did when they killed him in Star Wars, and it was great listening to him talk about that.
He was happy he died. He was done. He was not trying to do Star Wars no more. Get me up out of here, bro.
He said, kill me earlier in the movie, so I ain't gotta come back.
Exactly.
Oh.
I need Harrison Ford. Like Microsoft. Put the big purse out. Put the big wallet out. Throw that thing on the table. Get Harrison Ford in this game. I need him mocapped in there. I want younger Harrison. Like, so you go mocap,
Yeah,
so you might as well make him younger. You know, he can't move
younger.
like that, right? So give him. So let's do an Abby with him, right? Abby had one actress for the face, another actress for the body, and then a third for the voice. Let's do two, right? We get Harrison for the face and the voice, and get someone younger that can actually do the stuff that like they want to pretend Harrison Ford can still do and Indiana Jones can still do in these movies. Because I'm sorry, the dude like 95 years old and he beating up people and killing people. It ain't even remotely realistic. I don't want to see that in this game. I want it to be third person perspective, which I'm not saying machine games can't do it. All their games have been first person perspective. I would like to see them kind of, go out of their comfort zone and see what happens, right? But
yeah.
All that said, I want Harrison Ford. I do not want some if it's how can it be an Indiana Jones game without Harrison Ford? Or the voice? Like, if you can't get either of those, why make the game?
Why make the game? Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with you on that.
You don't make the game. If we get freaking Nolan North, or what's the other one that is always in it? Troy Baker, attempting the Harrison Ford voice. I'm telling you, I'm flipping tables. I'm not playing it. I'm not playing. They better stop playing with me. It better be Harrison Ford. Period.
Oh, Chris Righteous said it's going to be Indiana Jones's daughter.
No, I don't. Who is that? Didn't he have a son? Wasn't Shia LaBeouf his son? Like,
yeah, Shia
I don't
LaBeouf
want
was
Shia. I don't want Shania, whoever his daughter's name is. I don't want either of them. I want freaking Harrison Ford, crotchety old Harrison Ford on the marketing tour. I want Harrison Ford in this game. Damn it. That's it.
Man. I'm with you. So going back to before we move on, going back to the basis to the exclusive talk, Microsoft did say case by case basis. They did say legacy titles and stuff like that.
Right.
So when do we find out? So do we finally find out what legacy means whenever the next Fallout or Elder Scrolls come out?
Elder Scrolls Online, don't they come out with an expansion every year, it seems like?
Well, Elder Scrolls Online, but what do they do? So is Elder Scrolls 6 going to be exclusive to Xbox or
no?
Or what?
I mean, wait. Yes, I think Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive to Xbox, yeah.
So that means like Doom, all the new Dooms, like Doom 4, Wolfenstein 3, all that stuff, you think it's going to be exclusive to Xbox?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I think the only stuff from ZeniMax that would be multi-platform is stuff like Fallout 76 expansions, Elder Scrolls Online expansions, potentially that new ZeniMax Media MMO that they're working on. I think that might be multi-plat because I mean
it needs more people playing it, the better it does.
Right. So I think those would do it, but everything else, I think everything else is going to be.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, we can move on, man. Here, where are we at?
Final Fantasy.
Oh, Final Fantasy. Let's talk about Final Fantasy. Have you played it yet?
I beat the beta. I'm not starting the game until I come back. I have it though, but I'm not starting until I come back.
Okay, so I didn't have a lot of time today, but I did start it today, and I picked up where I left off from the demo. And I probably played about like a good hour and a half.
Is it like a legit starts you right from where the demo ends at?
Yes. Like literally what you're seeing right now on the screen is where it starts. Where
it is. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Sure
13 years later. Oh God.
This performance, man, yo, performance mode stinks, bro. It's bad. This is what it does. Like so in combat, right? It's lot 60 in combat. It don't drop a frame in combat, but the resolution drops to 720p. Out of combat, it goes up to like, I think probably it's dynamic, so it goes up to max like 1440p.
Wait, did you say 720p?
Yes, and when you're fighting, so when you know how like, okay, so like when combat starts and then you can kind of like target people, like it switches. Then it literally kind of goes into where resolution hits up 60, and then frame rate goes to 60, and then resolution drops to 720p. When you're out of combat, it does like, so it goes, it's a dynamic resolution, but it usually stays above like 1080p and hits like 1440p max. So it's not even 4K, right? And they do this, they're using FSR, but I don't know if it's FSR 1.0 or 2.0. That's kind of like, people are kind of debating on which one it is due to some of the, because there are parts that look good, like the character models look great, but then there's parts of the environment that looks dated, and there are parts, there are other little things you will see every now and then that look dated, make you go like, what the heck happened? So it's just, it's really inconsistent. And I actually had asked this question on Twitter earlier today because I couldn't find the answer myself. I didn't know what engine this game was running on. I knew it wasn't Luminous. So I remember them confirming that it wasn't Luminous engine that would be running the game. But then, what was it, right? So it's some proprietary engine they're using for this game. Some people believe it's Final Fantasy XIV's engine adapted to work for this game, which is, I guess, fine. It's just long as it works. And I kind of feel like just you need to have the tools capable to make sure that you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And to forego Unreal Engine, okay, fine, you know, don't do like, even though like with Final Fantasy VII Remake they used Unreal Engine 4, performance wise is awesome, right? Awesome on PlayStation. The PC port was pretty poor, but if you know mods and whatnot, you know how to get around it. It's perfect on PC once you know what's up. I don't know why they just didn't do Unreal Engine 4 for this. I don't think this is a game that, like, from what I've seen so far, couldn't be done in Unreal Engine 4. But I am enjoying the combat. I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the story. It's just, and I'm fairly early on, so.
Does that mean what hours did you put in today?
Like I said, I only put in like maybe 90 minutes. I didn't really have a ton of time.
Okay.
But I kind of,
you're gonna no life it over the weekend.
Right. I'm definitely putting major time on this.
You beat Diablo already, right?
Yeah, I beat Diablo earlier. I beat Diablo, was it Monday or Tuesday? I freaking love the Acts 5 and 6 Diablo. Fire.
Oh,
freaking
so good.
Fire. They're so good. I literally, like, okay, so I started playing it, I think it was Monday night, but it was like at 11:30. I didn't get off of it until like 1:30 in the morning when I finished the game. I didn't care for the epilogue. So the epilogue kind of stuck, and it was like a little odd character for certain characters, but they were just basically just doing what they did to make sure that they could build up or set up the next expansion story wise. But I thought it was a bit out of a character for what happened. But all the stuff going into getting ready to fight, the war and everything. Oh man, it was just great. It was great. But yeah, I made sure to beat Diablo 4. I'm still playing it with some friends and stuff, but that's more of it's secondary. My main focus right now is going to be Final Fantasy
you already
16. Got
the main part that your grind really won't start again until the season starts up. The seasonal model start.
And I let me kind of skip forward because I don't want to show too much of the story because I don't want people being like, man, SloMo showing everything.
SloMo up here showing the whole game.
Showing the whole daggone game, SloMo. We could just show some combat. But like I'm enjoying the game. I think the reviews is like 88 Metacritic, like over 100 reviews. It's not coming off the 88. It's gonna stay there. I don't think it's going up higher or lower. I did by the way on Scumcast last Saturday, I did predict 88. So you know, just a little.
You sure there are a couple of bigger outlets that haven't got off their progress and review. I think like Polygon is still one of them, and I forget who the other one was.
But with over 100 reviews, I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, but I think it's weighted though, because there's a lot of
because
it depends on how much is weighted for those people that haven't done it yet. But I agree. If anything, it probably will stay at an 88. I can see it go. I don't see it going down. I can see it going to 89, depending on how much Polygon is weighted, and the other, I forget, it was another big one that wasn't I think it was Giant Bomb or something. They were the other one too. So it just depends on how they're weighted, honestly, and what they come in at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm enjoying the game. I like the combat a lot. It took me, I guess I've been playing so many games that like initially it took me a moment to remember how to play the game for a second.
Yeah, and guess what? That's why I'm not playing it until I come back.
Once I remembered what to do, I was engaged in again. I like the story. I like where the story's going. It does have a lot of Game of Thrones to it, right? But I do think that I saw some comments from people who have beat the game where they kind of feel like the story went left for them, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to like see that kind of stuff yet. I just kind of want to experience it on my own. But I like the game, and I think it's going to be a Game of the Year contender. There's a lot of games coming out this year. I think at this point, if you're not a
What's in the catbird seat?
The what?
What's in the catbird seat right now for you? Or do you think it's in a catbird seat when it comes to Game of the Year?
What is Diablo, a catbird seat? What?
Like, in the front seat.
Oh, okay. I was like, what
you never heard of the saying catbird seat?
No, I have never heard that before. I thought I've heard every like old timey phrase, but nah. So no, I've never.
You haven't played enough Final Fantasy yet to say, but
yeah, I haven't
Diablo
played enough of it to say whether it's going to be there or not. But I do think Diablo 4 would be a Game of the Year contender. It doesn't really do new stuff. Like it doesn't really. There's nothing. It doesn't really like elevate the formula of Diablo 4. It takes the best parts of 3 and 2 and you get 4 with it, right? And you got what I would say is probably the best story in Diablo, but I think if it shows up, if we look at the Keeleys in the 6 games, it's definitely gonna be 6 this year, because it's just too many games. The 6 games, Diablo's up there. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Deserve it because it's that good. It's that high quality. I beat the game with a necromancer. I love my necromancer. Now I'm playing with a barbarian, and it's just like my build with that is so different than what I was doing with the necromancer. Now it's almost like I'm playing the game fresh all over again.
How long did it take you to level them up? Like 20 minutes?
No, because I've been I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong because like I started from like as if I completed the campaign, and then, but I was still at level 1, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm up to like level 21, but that was all in like one night. I don't know. It's wild. Chris Ruckus says Path of Exile 2 might be the Diablo 4 killer, maybe, or I mean, if you think of Baldur's Gate 3 is kind of a different RPG, but Baldur's Gate 3 is also still an RPG, so you never know. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this year is so competitive for for games to be in the game of the year category, there's so many games I feel like that are going to be worthy. They're going to get left out. Dead Proof just mentioned Hogwarts. I think Hogwarts is not going to even get a nomination for game of the year. I think, but I've said it before, I think that's more political and not necessarily really about the game itself. I think Hogwarts is worthy of being a game of the year contender, but I don't think it will get it. I still think Zelda's going to win, even though I never played Zelda. And I just think that it's enough of the gaming media that's doing these votes loved it that much that it's already a foregone conclusion in their mind what's going to win game of the year. The way Starfield's looking, it's probably going to get a nomination, but I gotta see some things, because like somebody sent me something that said that like they saw that like people were saying internally like in combat at times on Xbox, Starfield's running at like 15 frames per second, and I was like, say what? Now again, this is me and my busy day. I didn't get a chance to check it out, so I don't know for certain. That don't go out there and be like SloMo said that Starfield's running at 15 FPS. I don't know, but I'm hearing those kind of things, and doesn't mean it's true. But if the game, if let's say if it was true that the performance is that bad on consoles, I don't know. I just can't see it really be that much a part of the conversation. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Shout out to Lady Foxfire. She says, "Wait, no Redfall for Game of the Year."
Oh no. Redfall, if they had Razzies like in the movies where they had like the worst Razzies, for those who don't know, like the worst movies of the year, like if you got a Razzie, it's nothing to really like be happy about. Worst actress, worst actor, worst movie, they need Razzies for games, honestly. Like Redfall would be up there. And yeah, like I agree.
He asked if RE4 going to be there.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm pro remake. There are some people that kind of feel like remakes should never ever win Game of the Year or even be nominated. I think at this point, enough remakes have been nominated. Final Fantasy VII Remake was nominated. Resident Evil 2 was nominated. Remake, that is. I think remakes get nominations. I think that they're more ceremonial and just talking about how technically and how well the game was executed, but I don't think they are ever really considered. So I feel like it's fine to nominate them. It's almost kind of like how they treat the token indie. They have the token indie that's thrown in there, but it's not necessarily really going to ever win. It's just, hey, you did great, and we love your stuff, and you know, make more great games. We love you, but you're not winning Game of the Year, huh?
Unless you're Walking Dead.
Well, I mean, that was before the Keeleys. I'm talking about the Keeley Awards. Okay?
What was something? We had one that just recently won not too long ago, wasn't it?
But that was published by EA. You're talking about It Takes Two.
It Takes Two, yeah.
That was published by EA. True. Like that game would not have been possible without EA's budget.
True.
Yeah. Remasters, I do not think remasters should ever be in this conversation, but remakes is enough of a work done that I think it deserves to be at least nominated. But that's
this is SloMo basically telling you if he doesn't want to go back on this if Chrono Trigger ever gets remade.
Look,
he can't. So he can hold on to the fact that man, it definitely should have been nominated. Because he don't want to say
no. I'm saying if they do, if they somehow if they do somehow do a Chrono Trigger remaster, I will be consistent. It does not deserve to be nominated. But if it's a remake, just off the announcement alone, is Game of the Year. I don't care. Anything, I don't care. It's Game of the Year. It's freaking Game of the Year. That's
I don't even need to play it yet. I already know.
but you know, to wrap this part up, Final Fantasy 16. I'm having a good time. I think it's a good game. I think you should, you know, if you got a PlayStation, check it out, and if you want to play it, just get a PlayStation and check it out. Or if you got a PC and you're just like, this performance is too bad for me, I refuse to play it in resolution mode, 30 FPS. Screw that crap. I will deal with the kaleidoscope, the roller coaster of FPS that is this game. I would deal with that, and then I will also play it on PC. I will double dip, and then I will play it at 120 FPS or whatever the heck I play it at, or we'll see.
Last thing before we move, we said 6 games are more likely going to get nominated, right?
Yeah.
This is like one of those years where I feel like there's going to be more than enough AAA games to fill out that 6. Do you foresee us not getting that token indie this year? Because this would be the year it wouldn't happen if it is going to happen.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess this would be hard to do a token indie. So do you think it's gonna live up to form and stick to the formula, or do we think that this is the year that it's all AAA games in the 6? Right back up. Are we back? Are we back? Are we back?
It's still buffering for me. Yep, it's back.
Okay, it's back. All right. Let me go. So I don't know what just happened, but OBS said no. I tried to play the Starfield Direct. I don't know if I want to try to play it again. I don't know what's maybe. I don't know. Maybe the file was too too big for OBS, and OBS crapped out. I almost don't want to attempt it again. But let's talk about this Todd Howard interview real quick. I mean, let's discuss it. Maybe what I'll do is let me find the channel. I mean, sorry, not the channel, but the Starfield Direct stream, and then I'll just throw that in here so that people can see kind of see what we're talking about. But so Todd Howard was with Kind of Funny Game. Shout out to them for doing the interview, and they
getting all the interviews.
They get every interview now, right? Yep. They spoke to Todd Howard. There's a couple of things. It wasn't like really anything new that was delivered, I would say. But what I would say is that there was some information that I thought that was pretty interesting that I would like to show you guys. Get this up. But the first thing I would say, and Forte, I'll kind of like pitch this to you about what you thought about it. Yeah. Some highlights that I thought were highlights to me that I looked into was Todd Howard said that 10% of the planets you can visit have life on them. So that means that 90% of the planets that you visit will just be kind of just
barren.
So what do you think about that?
Oh man, this is that whole. So basically, out of the 1,000 planets, only 100 of them you land on are gonna have life. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, listen, man. Anybody that really thought that you were gonna land on 1,000 different planets and have different life forms on every planet, it was kind of fooling themselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of those planets you're not even gonna ever see, and I guarantee you, the planets, the further you, I think the way it's gonna probably be set up, the further you travel away from your main hub or your main solar system, is where you're going to start hitting those barren planets. They may have some sprinkled in there from point to point. They might have gas giants where you technically can't even land on them, but they're still, categorized as a planet. So I think that's going to be a lot of the hand waving too. But I never expected to even get that. But I mean, this is them coming out with expectations and trying to let people know exactly what this game's going to have.
Mhm.
But the funny thing is, for the most part, SloMo, the marketing already did its job. Starfield Direct did its job already. How many people are going to buy this game on day one and not hear this conversation in this interview with Todd Howard on only 10% of the planets are going to have, sustainable life on it? Not nowhere near how many people watch the Direct is going to know that.
Right.
And
I can understand it's going to be difficult to kind of put life on every planet, and a lot of it's going to be like what's the word they call it, procedurally generated. So you're going to have like stuff that's there, but then it's like, in different biomes and whatnot. But they will have, I guess 10% life is fine. I don't think it's that big a deal, but
it's not.
I think that some people have that
might be how real life is, honestly.
Actually, the way he said the quote, he said that they try to. He said this multiple times, or at least they said it in the Direct multiple times, that they're kind of going for like a NASA feel. What was it, NASA chic or something? I can't remember what they said.
Yeah. They're, like I said, they're trying to base it off of, not real life, but you got people like SloMo. If I don't know your beliefs on it, but do you believe we're the only ones in the universe, SloMo?
I am 60% convinced that we are not.
Yeah, you can never be 100%, but it's hard for me to believe with 100% or even 80%, 90% certainty that with all of these universes and all these galaxies and the distance fringes of space, that we're the only ones out there. But guess what? It ain't that many of them compared to how many planets are out there. So this all makes sense to me. It just comes down to, how do you explain that in a video game gameplay scenario? Because you're going to have the people that's going to want to go to every planet, and they're going to want to check and see what the biomes look at all of these different planets, because it's a video game. But in all retrospect, what you see at these planets are going to probably just be the same thing. Like if you go to Mars, if you fly to Mars right now, you ain't going to see nothing but dust, dirt, and red sand.
Right.
That's what you're going to see.
Right.
So,
and that's realistic. That's what the majority of the planets are actually like out there. We haven't found life yet. And when we do find life, we classify it as some amoeba that's been like frozen in some sand underwater that there ain't been real technical water for like 500 billion years. So what, right? Another question I saw was there's no fishing in the game, which I thought was funny, because it's like, it seems like every game that's kind of like this has fishing in it.
Destiny has fishing in it. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes,
Warframe has
they
fishing
have fishing.
in it. A lot of games like this have fishing in it. One thing I thought was interesting was when they talked about backgrounds. So I remember in Mass Effect, you would get your background and it'll be like, you were, a sole survivor of this massive, this disgusting battle, and you barely survived, right? Or they'll be
I remember it.
Or you were a great hero, or you were just some street rat scumbag from Earth or something, right? But the way they're doing backgrounds, I will give them credit for this, right? The way they're doing backgrounds, I think, is unique. Because it's not just that you have this background. I remember, like in Cyberpunk, I knew they were going to do this, but I was disappointed with the way they did your origins. You had Street Rat, you had Nomad, and then you had your Corpo. But it didn't matter. Like, it only really mattered that sometimes in conversation you would have a deeper insight into what was going on than otherwise. But there was never nothing like outside of the first hour and a half of the game, maybe not even that, maybe it's the first 30 minutes of Cyberpunk, where your actual past meant anything. What they're doing here with like you being like a hero, and then you can have a companion like this dude that's just like your super fan that's all in your face, or you can actually have a family, or you can have certain backgrounds that really actually change the gameplay. I think that's smart. I do like that. That's one of the reasons why I definitely was like, I want to play this one, because I usually don't like Bethesda RPGs, but I want to play this one because it's like This one's doing things a little differently, even though I do think some people are kind of overblowing the ship thing.
Yeah, you can build a Gundam.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you can build the ship. That's not really truly innovative. I think there's a lot of people out here who don't really play a lot of games and don't realize that like Warframe Railjack has you building your own ship. No one said anything about that, about Rail. No one pays the Warframe. Freaking Star Citizen has done stuff like this already. So it's just like, it's not, I don't think that's super innovative. But, and then the last thing I saw that I want to kind of really discuss with you is that the way, and maybe I interpret this differently, but it seemed Todd Howard was they asked him about performance mode and whether it was, ever really considered. And he was just like, no.
I know it wasn't.
We never really considered lowering like like volumetric effects or something like that to get a higher frame rate. We never really considered it, which does not shock me one freaking bit.
Because this game was built to be a 30 frames per. See, look, and people are I mean, and granted, the S is going to take a lot of heat for it, and people are going to get upset. Because the X isn't going to be able to, partake in having 60 frames per second. I think this is more of a Todd Howard situation than a system issue.
Real quick. Go ahead. Shout out to Chris Righteous in the chat who said, "Why is this buffering? What the heck is going on?" Let me just skip it. Who said
it is buffering, yeah.
Mechs and vehicles, planes, and all sorts of things. Like you can build all that stuff in the new Zelda 2, which is I think it's hilarious because
yeah, you can. Rudimentary as heck too.
Right.
But you can do it. But yeah, but that's kind of how I looked at it. I was like looking at it like, man, you can like all of these different things. I feel like this game, the S isn't. I think the S has issues. The X is being throttled by the issues that the S is giving. But this game, I don't.
No, I don't think that's it. I don't think if there wasn't a Series S, I do not think that this game would be running at 60 FPS.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. This game, I said this isn't a console issue with this game. Mm-hmm. This is a design issue from the beginning for Todd Howard. This game was being developed back in 2013. They started really working on it in 2016. And this game from the very beginning was being made to be 30 frames per second.
So if you want to be upset about not getting, if you are a console only gamer and you want to be upset that this game isn't running at 60 FPS, you need to direct your concerns to Mr. Todd Howard.
To Todd Howard.
Because Todd Howard basically said, at no point ever did I care about giving you a 60 FPS mode.
And guess what? He's never going to. And guess what? When this game releases, he's gonna test it and play it like he's been doing on consoles to make sure you get the best 30 frames per second experience you can get.
If you get that,
as soon as the
if
game
you
is
get
out,
that, I'm not convinced that you getting 30 FPS on console either, especially now in that Series S. Good grief.
Yeah, but when that happens and he finally says, "Okay, now it's time for me to play the game," he's gonna play it on the PC.
We are being asked, did Todd confirm it will be 60 FPS on PC? He doesn't have to.
No, he don't have to.
He don't have
because
to.
Because I can turn down a bunch of stuff to make it 60 frames. Listen, the only way this game is not 60 frames per second on PC is if Bethesda goes in and locks it. It says, no, it's locked on PC to 30. And guess what's going to happen, Slow-Mo?
Pandemonium.
Yes. And then someone's gonna go into the INI files and they're gonna unlock it anyway.
Right, he can lock it if he want. Just the same way From Software be locking their games at 60. Very next day after it came out, there's a mod to unlock it. It is what it is, man. It's it is just funny to see people flip-flop their arguments. I think it's pretty hilarious.
But let's be for real though.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be for real though. We're having fun with this. This is still a travesty that this game is only running at 30 frames per second. And like I said, I still say it's not a problem with the consoles. This game, like now Redfall, that's something completely different. I just feel like there was mismanaged. Microsoft even themselves came out and said that they didn't put enough emphasis in the development of Redfall, whereas they put a lot of emphasis on the development.
The emphasis on Redfall should have been to cancel it. That should have been the emphasis on Redfall.
Cancel it. But yeah. I will not blame the consoles and their ability to run at 60 or 30 frames per second on this game. This was a decision of the man Todd Howard, and when he said it in that interview that no, I am not. He didn't say we are not compromising. He said I was not compromising the vision of this game. That was a statement from Todd Howard's mouth himself. So that man is super invested in the experience that you feel that you should have in these games. And I feel like, guess what? As a console gamer, it's very unfortunate that once again, we are stuck at playing games at a disgusting frame rate. And they're basically saying, oh, 4K is the norm, whereas I could probably see this running at 1440p 60 frames per second on the Series X. But that goes without being said. But I'm not going to blame the consoles for this. This is a Todd Howard thing. And like SloMo said, if you're upset about it, that's who you should be tweeting and taking all your rage out, because his decision is why this game is running the way it is.
Right. Shout out to Lady Foxfire with a $2 super chat. She said, canceled Game Pass Ultimate and got PC Game Pass. Well, I mean, why not? It's the price ain't moving.
$5.
I mean,
$7 now.
I'm glad she brought that up, because that helps us segue into our next topic.
Speaking of which, shout out to Lady Foxfire and that beautiful Nintendo Switch OLED that your girlfriend has. I watched that video. I really enjoyed it. Keep up with all the great Zelda content over there.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, you know.
Listen, man,
y'all spending all this money on these outdated hardware, ain't doing nothing no different than the previous outdated Nintendo Switch y'all had. But it's y'all money. Y'all do what y'all want with it. Anyway.
Stop hating.
I am hating. Microsoft is raising, because she brought up canceling Game Pass Ultimate and got PC Game Pass. Well, you know what? That might be the move, especially if you want PC. You know, because PC Game Pass prices ain't moved, but that Xbox Game Pass, the price for the Xbox Series X and the price of Game Pass on Xbox did move.
Mm-hmm.
So Forte, what are your thoughts on this? So now, to clarify everything, the move for price is only in regions where PlayStation also raised in price. So yes. Except for Japan, I think PlayStation went up in Japan, but I don't think Xbox is going up in Japan. And I think that's the only difference. But everywhere else, they're raising prices that match PlayStation. But PC Game Pass, Game Pass Ultimate is going from $14.99 to $16.99.
Yep.
And I guess that also takes Xbox Game Pass from $9.99 to
$10.99.
To $10.99.
Yep.
And then PC Game Pass just stays where it's at.
$10.
So, $10.
Is it? Yep, $10.
So Forte, why isn't Microsoft raising prices of PC Game Pass?
Because they know PC game. Well, first of all, it's more PC gamers on Game Pass than standard Game Pass subscribers on Xbox. And on top of that, it's the same reason they don't charge you for Xbox Live on PC Game Pass. Because guess what? They know PC gamers ain't going for that. They ain't going for that. That's that's why it's cheaper. Go ahead.
What would happen if Microsoft tried to do a price increase, a $1 price increase to PC Game Pass? You think they would still be enjoying the growth they've been getting on that platform?
No, it would be a mass exodus, but it would be an exodus. Right.
I agree with that, and I think that the growth of PC Game Pass has been good for them. They have seen double-digit growth for the past 2 years. And that is hard to do on PC, which we have to be honest. Like, even though PC gamers try to act like they are above fanboyism, the vast majority of them are huge shills for Steam and Valve, and they only care if the game is coming to Steam or not. If the game's not coming to Steam and it's going to Epic Game Store, they freak out, even though it's a free launcher that they can just get the game in, right? But whatever, right? You raise the price of Game Pass on PC and see how that growth evaporates. You know, it will happen pretty quickly. Now, I will say that like the Xbox app itself has gotten better. It used to be abysmal. Now it's not the worst app launcher on PC. You know, that spot's reserved for the EA app. It went from bad with Origin to even worse with the EA app. They stink. Shout out to UEA though. The Xbox app has gotten better to the point where at least the games perform well, as far as I know. I haven't had any issues like I used to have, where I used to had to be forced to buy the game on Steam because it didn't work on Xbox, on the Microsoft Store. But they do work now, although I don't get automatic updates correctly, and sometimes the app just is super slow for no reason. I'm just like, what is happening in the background? Like, why? I'm checking, you know, my task manager. I don't see like nothing. I'm not downloading like the entire like series of Breaking Bad or something. Like, why is this? Nothing is happening here, and it's just the app stinks, you know, sometimes. But it has gotten better now. All that said, like, I think they would really upset all of their growth if they tried to treat PC gamers the way they treat Xbox gamers. And I think there might be somewhat of a conversation, you know, if you're an Xbox gamer, you feel like you're being treated like a second-class citizen. I can't really say that you're over-exaggerating. I mean, look, even though growth is, I see both sides to it, and this is what I'm saying. For Microsoft, growth is stagnant for Game Pass on Xbox. Sales are stagnant. You're getting revenue and you're generating revenue over there, but it's mostly all through like microtransactions for live service games, your services, yada yada yada. But you're seeing double-digit growth on PC, and PC as a market is a minimum like 200 million gamers, and your competitors, Nintendo, don't even know what a PC market is, and Sony is just starting to get their feet wet with it. So you look at like your potential growth, and you say, "Hey, we could own this." I mean, not really own it, but we could really, you know, get comfortable here. You know, we're not going to beat Valve, but we're not trying to. We're just trying to get a piece of the pie. And I think that, like, you got to kind of respect it, but at the same time, remember that, like, if you're an Xbox gamer, you are paying X amount of dollars annually just to play online. Like, this is freaking 1995 or something. You are got weaker hardware, and every time there's a price increase for any of the services, you get hit with it first, or maybe, like in this case, solely just you. So yeah, if you feel like a second-class citizen, I get it, because you kind of are. I mean, am I wrong in that, Forte? Am I overstating my?
Dang. Look, second-class citizen. Listen, I don't think you're a second-class citizen. I just think that Microsoft knows that if you have an Xbox, it's like they try to give more benefits to the Xbox fan to be able to tie all the stuff together. I mean, I still think you get a really good deal due to the fact that, you know, Game Pass, Xbox Live is all tied together. Even for the $16 or $17, Game Pass by itself would have been $10, and Xbox Live was $10 separately too. So you're still saving in that regard. So I mean, you're not really paying more. I just think it's just the fact that PC has never had to pay for any of these things. because they're not directly a part of the Xbox ecosystem until Xbox made them a part by making the Xbox app on the PC. And in your regard, you even said for a long time that the Xbox app is trash and it's not even worth spending the money to play on PC Game Pass because it doesn't work all the time. Now the functionality that's what I said, the functionality's gotten definitely better, and I do think that experience is starting to level itself out. So I wouldn't be too upset at the fact that Game Pass is going up, because we knew this was going to happen at some point.
Right.
I think for myself,
are you somewhat shocked that it went up before the ABK deal was completed?
I am just a little shocked about that, but this is the thing that kind of disappoints me.
Do you think it's going to go up again once the deal is completed?
Not right away. I think they're going to pull something like the Netflix model where the ABK deal goes through. They wait, probably. You might get the next Call of Duty game if they could put it in Game Pass. You might get the next Call of Duty game at the standard price that you're at right now. But that next Call of Duty, it's
so
going to probably
next
be
year,
another.
The price of the brick has gone up.
Well, if they get Activision, because I don't think they'll get Activision, or not Activision, but Call of Duty, I don't think could go into Game Pass this year. But I think if they do pass the deal, I think next year's Call of Duty, you'll get it at the price it is. But the year for 2025, 2025's Call of Duty, I think it's definitely going to be a price break. I think you'll be staring down $19.99 by the end of 2025, which is another $2 increase over the next 2 years. But the only thing, this is what disappoints me. I don't really have a problem with the price increase.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mostly due to the fact that I already prepaid for this for a while, so I'm good.
Right. But as a lot of people have. Well,
as a lot of people have.
A lot of hardcore gamers have. I think there are a vast number of people who are just paying month to month. They just pay.
There's a lot of people that's doing that.
They don't even know, the ins and outs, or maybe you could do the whole Bing Microsoft rewards kind of thing, and use that to pay for your monthly.
I do get
Game
enough
Pass,
points every month to get game. Now with the price change, I don't know if that's still the case. But what I was going to say is, for me, I was looking at it more as a disappointment when it comes to looking at the games we were supposed to get over the course of the last couple of years, and them games still not being here. I'm like, Starfield's supposed to be last year. Redfall is supposed to be last year. Now, Redfall we did get, but guess what? Starfield's going to cost you $2 more if you're month to month now on a game that we got last year. And same thing with games like Forza Motorsport. That was a game that's supposed to have been out early this year or late last year, and you're going to have to pay the premium. I mean, it's only $2, but $2, over the course of a year, it adds up and stuff. That's like a whole month of a subscription to Game Pass. So I'm just slightly upset about, but ultimately it really doesn't matter because this is something that we knew was going to happen. I'm just shocked it happened before the ABK deal happened, because I thought that would have been a really good reason for them to raise the price, because you are getting those games in the service, but they're doing it before.
$70 billion. Exactly. It would seem justified at that point, because the price of the bill has come through. We have completed the acquisition. $70 billion has been transferred of hands. And now we're gonna pass some of that cost on to you, fair gamers. That would make sense to me. There is some talk in the chat, of which I think is a little inconsequential, but I'll address it. That when PC Game Pass was in beta, the price was $5, and then when it came out of beta, at $10,
and it's been that
since. And I would say that if you believe that a price increase, PC gamers would not have a problem with a price increase at this point, with north of 15 million people subscribed to it, when it was not even 1 million people subscribed to the beta. That's crazy. Not only is it crazy, Microsoft don't agree with you because they didn't increase the price. Because they know better at this point. And good on them, because it would be a bad business move for them to do that.
Lucius says, if they increase the price after the ABK deal, the regulators will come after them, which I do understand because that was part of the conversation during all of these negotiations. Now, I do think that's why Microsoft is raising the price incrementally, because they can always use inflation as another reason that they can raise it even more. You know, in the grand scheme of it, $2 is nothing compared to like what a lot of people were thinking Game Pass after the ABK deal could be $25, which a lot of people will probably still pay for.
Can't, I mean, you can, but it wouldn't be a good idea. But you can't make drastic price increases immediately.
No, like, you can't.
Remember, once upon a time, we used to pay just like $8 or $9 for Netflix, and now you're paying like $18, nearly $20 for Netflix.
I paid $20.
Now, if they would have immediately went from, hey, Netflix is $8.99, now it's $18.99, it would have been a mass exodus of people quitting Netflix immediately. But instead, what they did, they did incremental increases over a long period of time, so the people would be like, oh, it's just $1. Okay, I didn't like that they increased it again a year later, but it was just $2. I don't like how they did it again 2 years later, but I mean, the next thing you know, it's $16, and they're like, "Oh, I used to pay half this." But it's like you don't do it all at once. So guaranteed, we will see more price increases for Game Pass in the future. That's a guarantee. It's just that you're not wherever they want it to be at, where they feel comfortable, like this is a good price, right? We don't know what that is, and we're not going to see what that's going to be for years from now. Like it might be like the beginning of next generation before we see Game Pass at the price that they really want it to be at.
And Froggy T White, he brings up a good point. He says game sales are just too good on PC and usually don't care. I usually don't care about playing the latest games day one. The reason I bring that up is because that's part of the reason why you see Game Pass on PC not go up in price, because people can get games so much cheaper on a PC platform from just different websites and stuff. We always see how you can go to places like Green Man Gaming or any of these other these key giving site or
Green Man
sites,
Gaming, CD Keys.
CD Keys that get games for $10 to $15 cheaper, brand new.
Yeah, there's one more. I can't remember the other one, but it's like there's a big three of like third-party sites that give you a legit key for Steam. And they for some reason they got sales, Game Billet. I think that's it. Yeah, thanks Arcade. And every big game that comes out, I get it from there, and it's like
you don't have to pay full price for it. That's why we always say these games, they be wanting to charge you, like they wanted to charge $70 for Final Fantasy VII when it came out. I was like, nope.
The funny thing was, right?
$54.
The funny thing was, remember when they announced that, and I was like, yo, PC community ain't rocking with that, and Epic knew it. Epic comes out with a $10 coupon. Yep. The same day the game drops. So as you go into their store and you're like, oh, it's $60. Because you got an automatic coupon. As soon as you went to cart, you had an automatic coupon, and they let you know, hey, we got a $10 coupon going right now. You wink wink, you might want to get that for a wink wink new release. And then so it was $60. So like, even though they tried to do the price increase on PC, it didn't as far as the PC gamers were concerned, it didn't get past to them. I've seen when I bought Call of Duty on Steam, I didn't pay the $70, I paid like $58 or something like that off of Green Man Gaming. So like, yeah, I never pay the full price. I always get the deal, the dealio. So anything else you want to say about this before we get up out of here, man?
No, man. I just think in general, just understand that, you're a piggy bank, and as long as you're willing to,
that's how they all view us.
That's all you are. You're money that they can extract from on a consistent basis, and they're going to keep doing it until people step up and say, I'm not going to do it. And honestly, that's why PC doesn't get charged like that. You know, not saying that PC gamers or just the ecosystem's better. It's just that they don't have a hold over the PC ecosystem like they do consoles. They own the console platform. So if you don't have a PC to be able to fall back on, you're stuck doing whatever they want. And that's kind of just the way it is.
Yep. And I think that if that ever changes on console and Xbox, you'll see some reversal in that. But you know, not happening at the moment. Anyway, great show, Forte. If I do say so myself,
really good show.
Shout out to the 50 people who are watching here right now. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome, and awesome chat as usual. Love you guys. We'll get up out of here. Next week, we'll keep your eyes open for what we're going to do with next week. Forte will be on vacation, so we're definitely not going to have a show on Thursday. Because ain't no way he's doing the show from a cruise. If he's trying to do a show from a cruise, not on that Wi-Fi. Even if you attempted it, I'd be like, no, have a Mai Tai on me and go relax. So it's not happening. So no show next Thursday. But we'll let you know whether there's going to be a cancellation of the show for next week, or if we're just going to do it on a different day. Like last week, we had to do it on Friday because I was just coming back in town for Thursday. More than likely, if we do a show next week, it's going to be Saturday, which would be kind of like awkward for us. But we'll figure it out. I don't work weekends, so we'll.
I'm off all next weekend, so if we did do it next Saturday, it'll be right after Scumcast. But we'll let y'all know. Yeah,
we'll definitely let you guys know. Forte, let the fine people know where they can find you, and also get your channel members stuff together.
I already got it. So yeah, guys, thanks again for coming through. It's great show. SloMo always does an amazing job when he hosts and has that information readily available for us all. But playing a lot of Diablo. I'm trying to fight myself to not play Final Fantasy because I don't leave until Sunday, and I kind of want to play now. So I might jump in there. SloMo kind of giving me a chance, giving me a little bit of faith of thinking that it's not that bad if I have to leave for 7 days and come back and just pick up where I left off, because that game, that beta got me wanting to get back in there and play, or not beta, demo got me wanting to get back in there and play it. And then Diablo.
We gotta play X Defiant, man. I've been trying to get in.
When does it go?
It's live now. It's an open beta now. I've been trying to get in, but like it's because it's an open beta. It's a little bit their server capacity ain't exactly where it needs to be quite yet.
Not yet.
I have not been able to get a single match in because every time I try to get in, it's like some kind of loading issue. They won't even log me in. So that's been, but like we gotta get that done before they end the. Is it? Oh man, I thought that open beta might have ended. I'll have to double check. It either ends
just let me know if it didn't.
Tomorrow.
I'll jump in. We can get in there. Try to get in there.
All right.
For channel members, shout out to Donnell Brown, Erodimus, DeathFlex27, Dragonheart Yobi, Stardust Acero, Ramon Terrell, Hargi Chani, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Corey Hale, SloMoBackSlap, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Thanks again for all the support. Really appreciate you guys doing it in that way. And I will see you guys. Well, I'll be here until Sunday. Then I won't see you guys until next week. So have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. On my side of things, I've got Retardio, Donnell Brown, DexFlex27, Babe, Dragonheart Yobi, Enrique Hargi, Shinichu Serum, Erodimus, Ramon Terrell, Humi One Kanoe, Gaming Forte, Corey Hale, Stardust Acero, and that guy Smitty. And again, like we always appreciate you guys supporting us in this way. Thank you for being channel members. I hope you guys are enjoying the new badges that Forte worked on to get, because if you as you become a member for longer, the badge changes and stuff, and it's all high quality looking logo stuff. It's great. You love it. We're gonna get up out of here. I'm about to go find out why my daughter keeps coming into my office instead of her being in bed, and then I'm gonna eat dinner, which I didn't do. But we're gonna get out of here. Enjoy your games, enjoy your week, and peace out, y'all.
Peace.